Well, hey, welcome to another mental health moment. As you can tell, we've been in quarantine for a while, and all my words are coming together. And I just want you guys to know that, hey, we're here for you. And today we actually have Dr. Mark Mayfield of Mayfield Counseling Centers, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what that is. Mark, welcome. Thanks so much for being a part of this.
What that is a lot of counseling going on.
I bet right now, a ton, right?
Yeah, we've taken somewhat of a hit because I think people have thought, that this would go by quicker than it has been going on. So, phone's been ringing more. But no, Mayfield Counseling Centers has been around for 5 years this July.
Awesome.
We've been a nonprofit 3 years this last March, but really in the community, for the community, desiring to provide quality mental health services that are accessible and that are not driven by cost. We do charge, but we also want to make sure that people that don't have the resources can have options to be able to come see a quality counselor as well.
That's awesome. Even this time right now, I know a lot of us are isolated at home. What have you been doing while you've been at home? Like, what's the thing that now that you've been isolated, like, what's the thing you've been doing?
Well, I think you and I talked about this. I've been doing a keto diet for the last 4 months, but I used to do a lot of running when I was younger, and I miss it. And so I have been, running, 12, 15 miles a week on the treadmill and just getting back in shape, and it's been wonderful.
That's awesome. Me, I'm not the exercise guy. I said this in my other episode. I make sure it's clear so everybody hears it. But I just drive by the gym.
Nice.
But now in this season, like, I've literally been walking like almost every day, just created that routine, but almost 3 miles a day, like just walking. And I was like, I've walked to like a store and like got, and got something and came back. And I was like, this is weird. Like, I'm going to a walking in here. And so that's so awesome. Tell us a little bit about, are you guys currently doing like telehealth? Like what's going on there with the counseling center?
Yeah. So for about 4 weeks ago, right, we always try to think 2 or 3 steps ahead. And so we kind of saw the writing on the wall that the governor was going to do a shelter in place. And even though we're an essential business, we wanted to make sure that we were being respectful of those around us. And so we didn't want our waiting rooms to be filled up. And so we transitioned to teletherapy, telehealth, I think the 13th of March. So over a month now. And have been doing our sessions that way, and it's been received well. It's I don't think none of us went to school to be telehealth counselors, but we also know people are going to continue to need support and care, and even more so now. And so our team has just been fantastic in the transition, and really have not had too many bumps in the road.
That's awesome. When you said, I'm so glad that you guys are offering that, especially if you are someone who's in need of that right now and know that you need to talk to someone, reach out to Mayfield Counseling Centers. What's the website, Mark, so everybody knows it?
Yeah, it's just mayfieldcounseling.com.
Mayfieldcounseling.com. Great.
Yep. And you can check us out on Facebook at Mayfield Counseling. So
what do you see right now as a counselor, as like the oversight of that organization? Like, what are you seeing in our community, and why would reaching out to you be so important?
Well, you think about on a regular basis, most of us don't admit that we have an anxiety level of 2 or 3, just being in the world and the stresses of life and being a parent or working and that kind of stuff. And so we manage pretty well. An anxiety level of a 2 or 3, we can handle that. You throw COVID in there, and now we're operating out of a 5 or a 6 with spikes of 8s or 9s. And I think my biggest thing is it helps to have somebody that is not family or a close friend to talk to and to process life with. And so even if you're going, well, I don't have, a major mental health disorder, or I don't struggle, but it would be nice, use this as a way to care for yourself. But I also see, so we're seeing anxiety and depression go up. We're also seeing suicide and suicide ideation go up as well, which all makes sense. That if we are operating throughout our day normally with struggles, and then we throw a crisis in there, of course things are going to spike and get worse.
Yeah. And that's really why EFL, Education for a Lifetime, that we wanted to make sure that you're aware, Mayfield Counseling Centers during this time, because there are a lot of things being thrown at us. COVID, like a few weeks ago, no one would have known how to spell that word. No
Right.
one would have known other than Corona beer. Like we would know Corona.
Or
We
social
wouldn't
distancing, or any of
social
these.
distancing. That'll probably be the word of the year. That'll probably be
Probably.
the phrase of the year.
Yep.
And so even in the midst of this, everything changing and going on, we know especially that that people need to reach out during this time. Actually, something for parents that you've just recently released and made available. You just made a book. Like you just had a book that was published.
Yeah, just had a baby. I mean, made a book. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it does, right?
Now I've been working for the last year on creating a resource guide for families, caregivers, grandparents, parents that have a teen who is self-injuring and struggling with suicidal thoughts and ideations. And so this free resource, is, comes through Focus on the Family and their Alive to Thrive curriculum. You can find it at the Focus ebook store. It's a free download there. Or you could also go to the Alive to Thrive website and click Get Help Now, and it can allow you to download it there too. So I think in this time, parents need to have some step-by-steps. And this is, again, not an end-all be-all perfect representation of what needs to happen, but it's a pretty comprehensive practical guide, 86 pages, so.
That's awesome. What a great resource to have during this time, especially parents, you at home that are navigating new roles as homeschool teacher, as coordinating things for maybe your parents, and even just all the other emotions that are going on in the house. For your students to have this resource, we highly recommend you downloading that free resource. Thank you so much for producing this and going through the laboring pains, as you were saying a minute ago, doing this.
Well, I'm a glutton for punishment because I'm already, into my second one now too. So it'll,
oh my goodness,
second book. So we'll see what happens. But no, it's practical things that we need to be talking about and doing. So
that's awesome. That's so cool. Mayfield Counseling Centers actually partnered with us to produce Education for a Lifetime's Who Can Relate. And we actually have this presentation that goes into schools for teen suicide prevention. And a couple of those things that we highlight in there, actually the three main ideas is who needs you, who loves you, and how do you find value. How important do you think that is during this current season that we're in with COVID and Corona and being isolated?
Well, we don't have a choice anymore, right? I mean, we are in the homes with people that either we like or don't like. And I think in a lot of ways, it would behoove us to put aside our differences and set aside some of those, maybe pre-COVID struggles and really lean in to get to know people, get to know those around us. But I think, anybody that wants to have hope, it needs those three components of need, value, and love, because, as we talk about this, loneliness is running rampant, and even in relationships, or even in relationships, we're lonely, and so really, I think drilling down and taking time to understand how we need to love, value, and need our families, and what we need out of those relationships too is really important.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, if you need help, we ask that you reach out. Mayfield Counseling Center is available. They want to make sure that you have everything available to you. And I love that you guys give scholarships. I love that you guys find ways of sliding scale, find ways to make sure that you meet the needs of an individual. And I really like to say it this way: you want to make sure it's completely accessible to anybody, regardless of financial, and really remove that barrier. There's a lot of resources there at Mayfield Counseling Center. So please reach out to them. Their info is going to, of course, be all posted with every source along the way, even the free resource that you guys have. We want to make sure that that's made available to everyone. Mark, thanks for taking time to go through this with us and be available. And thanks for making sure that your organization is available for us in a time of our need. And so if just so you know, if you are in a place now, like our curriculum says, on who can relate, know that you're needed, loved, and valued today. Mark, thanks for your time. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good. Thanks.